This is KCAL News, Los Angeles.
Now at 4, new video of a deadly neighborhood shootout that left a Baldwin Park police officer dead.
And we are starting off the week with some mild temperatures, but numbers will start to climb as we head into the coming days. I'm also tracking the chance for some showers coming up next.
And liftoff in Big Bear, one of our 2 eaglets, Sunny in fact, flew the nest for the first time. The excitement far and wide and questions about how far behind his sister Gizmo may be. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Juan Fernandez. New now at 4, a first look at the moments police arrived to a deadly shootout in Baldwin Park. A community member and a responding officer were killed by gunfire. KCAL's Jeff Nguyen is live, and Jeff, you heard from some terrified neighbors.
We absolutely did, Juan, but first let me go ahead and do this. I want to show you this growing memorial right behind us. As I step aside, you can take a look, and as we sweep our camera across this plaza, take a look at all of the floral arrangements that have been delivered here. And then I want to draw your attention to right above to that banner that was just installed a few minutes ago. It features Samuel Riveros. He is the fallen officer, and tonight we have a new look at the gunfight that took his life. Security video shows the gun battle as a Baldwin Park police officer pulled up to the 4200 block of Philhurst Avenue. He gets out of his car, then finds cover as dozens of rounds ring out. Juan Rubalcaba lives across the street from the suspect, 22-year-old Eduardo Medina Berriman.
I saw the boy Eduardo shooting, so I called her mom.
Rubalcaba also called the suspect's grandmother, telling her to lock her doors. You can see this pane of glass at their home has been damaged.
Your son Eduardo is shooting with a rifle.
The gunfight injured Officer Anthony Pimentel, but his colleague Officer Samuel Riveros died. Outside the Baldwin Park police station, Riveros is being honored at a growing memorial beneath flags at half-staff. This camera also captured Tamara Ayala's mom walking into the front yard Saturday evening, discovering the body of a man police say was shot and killed by Medina Berriman.
I zoomed in more because I seen something on that top right corner, and it was a body on the floor, and I told my mom, "Mom, get inside."
Ayala called 911, and within minutes, police swooped in.
I heard 15 to 20 shots. We barricaded ourselves into the den because we were so frightened and scared.
Outside Ayala's home is a growing memorial for the man who was shot and killed here. His family did not want to speak on camera as detectives are working to figure out why he was targeted. And they aren't saying if Medina Berriman has had troubles with the law.
He had a hard temper, you know, like he didn't respect people. He'll tell him for something. I was glad that he didn't shoot at me, but I never have any problem.
And since Saturday evening, nearly a dozen police agencies nearby have sent their officers here to cover the shifts, the patrol shifts, while the Baldwin Park Police Department mourns. The help is expected to last until Thursday morning. We're live in Baldwin Park. Jeff Nguyen, KCAL News.
All right, Jeff, thank you. The man police say used a flamethrower to attack pro-Israeli demonstrators in Colorado appeared virtually in his first court appearance. He faces more than 40 charges, including 16 counts of attempted murder and a federal hate crime. Authorities say 45-year-old Mohammed Sabri Solomon used that makeshift flamethrower against a group that came together to raise awareness for the hostages in Gaza. A dozen people were hurt, including 2 that remain in the hospital with serious burns. Police say the suspect, who is in the country illegally, yelled his support for Palestine during the attack. He reportedly told federal officials that he researched online how to make Molotov cocktails, bought the ingredients, and put them together.
He said that he had previously tried to purchase a firearm, but resorted to the Molotov cocktails when he could not purchase a gun because he was not a legal citizen.
The victims are all expected to recover. This attack in Boulder comes just over a week after another man who was also yelling "Free Palestine" was charged with fatally shooting 2 Israeli embassy staffers just outside a Jewish museum in Washington. A teen beaten by a mob at a rock concert, and it was all caught on video. KCAL's Uzdelia Caballero shares the teen's message today to those who attacked him. And a warning to our viewers, the video you're about to see may be hard to watch.
It's a disturbing video showing 17-year-old Elijah Green being violently beaten at a music concert in Palmdale. The attackers repeatedly using the N-word.
It's heart-wrenching. It breaks my heart to this day. And by God's grace and mercy, they did not kill my son.
Ronika Green says before the attack on her son, there was an allegation he had touched a female a day before at a different location.
So she told someone that he touched her, he groped her. She kept having different stories that led up to the men assaulting my son.
I would never do anything like that to a woman.
Elijah Green says he came here to the rock concert to have a good time and clear up any misunderstanding.
I just wanted to clear up my name, and then we had a solid 3 hours of me just being okay. And then the moment I turn around, someone comes from behind and punched me in the back of the head, and then I start getting jumped.
I could have lost my life that day, and I thank God that I didn't.
He's a child. He's a minor who was racially beaten and called the N-word. The N-word over and over and over again as these racist adult men stomped on his head.
The sheriff's department confirms it's investigating the incident, but not as a hate crime. Community activist Naji Ali says he believes it is.
They are not looking at this as a hate crime. I don't know why not. We clearly hear these racist men saying, get that N-word. Get that N-word.
Adding, the Green family believes Elijah's attackers actually meant to target a different teen and mistook Elijah for him. The family says they've given several names to detectives, hoping it will help lead to arrests.
Thus far, it's 12. They were all on Instagram bragging, saying that they were the main participants in beating on my child.
Elijah's message to those who beat him.
And if you genuinely thought I did something like that, you could have had me arrested, you know. There was steps to this. You didn't immediately have to go to beating me down.
I want justice for my son.
In Palmdale, Uzdelia Caballero, KCAL News.
A roundtable discussion today addressing critical issues facing the LGBTQ community. Burbank Congresswoman Laura Friedman hosted the event. The discussion focused on the Trump administration's actions impacting LGBTQ rights, as well as the fight to protect HIV prevention funding for organizations across Southern California.
We have healthcare providers here, many of whom focus on AIDS prevention and AIDS services, to talk about the cuts that we're seeing right now to healthcare, particularly to AIDS prevention services. This has going to have huge impacts in our community with our ability to combat disease, infectious diseases across the board, and we're worried about it. So we're talking about strategies to give care to people.
The event also highlighted the importance of safeguarding resources for and support for LGBTQ individuals and organizations. Well, we hope Pride weekend may be over in West Hollywood, and it's only the beginning of Pride Month. The cleanup began after the parade wrapped up. Crews worked overnight to get Santa Monica Boulevard cleaned up and reopened to traffic. The festivities continue this weekend with the LA Pride Festival and Parade. That will be held Saturday at Sunset Boulevard and Highland Avenue. Time now for a live look outside. It was a very pleasant day today, but more changes are on the way. Meteorologist Olga Ospina is tracking what's coming our way in your next weather forecast. Olga.
Yes, and we're looking at some comfortable conditions to start the week, and then temperatures are going to start to climb. I'm also tracking potentially a little bit of wet weather for some of us. Want to get you out to Big Bear City, yes, where those little eaglets are hanging out. One of them still yet to fly. Temperatures there 66 degrees. We've seen a little sunshine out there, some light winds from the west at 10 miles per hour. But overall, most of us are feeling a cool down across Southern California this afternoon. Numbers, though, despite that cool down, we're still in the 80s for the Antelope Valley, with low 80s from Palmdale into Lancaster. As we head into the San Fernando Valley, feeling upper 70s in Woodland Hills, low 80s in Van Nuys, mid 70s for downtown Los Angeles. So that cool down is in place, but we are still feeling slightly above average numbers. Plenty of 80s and 70s across across Orange County. And for the Inland Empire, it is a warm one. We're looking at mid-80s in San Bernardino, 84 also for San Jacinto into Hemet. And as we head into the low desert, Palm Springs, 100 degrees. I am tracking again a warming trend, so I'll let you know when that kicks in coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, sounds good, Olga. Thank you. A hit-and-run crash on the 710 freeway near Delamo Boulevard in Long Beach left a Toyota SUV overturned on the highway, and CHP looking for the driver responsible. The driver of the RAV4 escaped with minor injuries. Detectives are checking traffic cameras and asking the public if they may have dash cam video from the incident that may help them track down the hit-and-run driver. President Trump, meantime, may be looking to avoid escalating trade tensions with China. As KCAL's Erica Brown tells us, this comes as the EU and Canada are promising retaliatory tariffs if the president follows through with the threat made last week.
President Trump is preparing for high-level trade talks with Chinese President Xi Jinping as the administration pushes new tariffs.
I can confirm that the two leaders will likely talk this week.
Both the U.S. and China have accused one another of violating a preliminary trade agreement reached in May.
I am confident that when President Trump and Party Chairman Xi have a call, that this will be ironed out.
This comes as the president doubled tariffs on steel and aluminum imports with the new 50% rate set to begin Wednesday. Trade partners, including the European Union and Canada, are promising retaliatory tariffs against the U.S. if Trump moves forward with the tax. The White House says it will not back down.
If we're not strong, then that's when bad things happen. So we have to show strength. We have to have a steel industry that's ready for American defense.
The president's sweeping tariffs are facing legal challenges. Monday, he called on the courts to uphold his authority to impose them, saying not having it would lead to the economic ruination of the United States of America. Erica Brown, KCAL News.
Building back better and harder. A homeowner in the Eaton Fire Zone is giving us tips on how we can fireproof our homes and protect our properties from future disasters. Plus, ladies, listen up how your daily coffee habit could wake you up in more ways than one later in life. And a growing threat, why you may want to be extra careful this summer if you're wandering around the great outdoors. A new disaster recovery center is now open in Altadena for victims of the wildfires. The doors opened this morning for the new resource center. It's a way for fire victims to connect with FEMA as well as the Small Business Administration as they continue on their road to recovery. The good news here is you don't need an appointment. You can simply walk right in. Build back better and harder. That's the message from a nonprofit that helps communities recover from devastating fires. But what exactly does it mean? On your sides, Christine Lazar spoke to an Altadena homeowner who is giving others tips on how to protect their homes.
Because if this house catches on fire, it's going to be quite a bit of hit coming this way.
Jay Lopez is a retired LA County fire captain and a homeowner in Altadena.
2009, the station fire burned all the way down.
His hillside home has escaped two major wildfires, the station fire and the Eaton fire.
It is a precious possession for me. This house is valuable for the family. We wanted to preserve.
In order to preserve his most expensive asset, Lopez remodeled it to be fire ready. He took me, members of the nonprofit After the Fire USA, and Eaton fire survivors for a tour of his home, pointing out the steps he took to harden it. Why are you sharing your home with us?
It's important to work as a team. So one home by itself is the start, but it's more property owners, especially adjacent to each other, do the work. The resiliency of that community increases tremendously.
Lopez estimates he spent between $70,000 and $80,000 on improvements, such as closing the eaves around his roof line, sealing all the cracks like the space around his garage to keep embers out, switching out all vents for ones with smaller openings, just a 1/16 of an inch, with a baffle vent, which looks like this.
So the embers get in, it's in here, they bounce around and they become even smaller and fall apart. So, but also by being baffled, you don't have flames going through either.
Lopez also has a 5-foot clearance around his home, cutting back tree limbs and removing bushes. Even his entryway mats are fire resistant, metal, not fabric. He added a brand new roof with thicker insulation to promote better cooling and heating. Cement board, not wood, sits on top of the fascia around his roofline. And Lopez put this stainless steel mesh around his property in case a fire starts at a bordering home.
It takes all of the embers and about 40% of the flames.
Lopez did such a good job at making his home fire ready, he was given an award by the Insurance Institute for Business and Home Safety. Even better, he was able to get off Fair Plan insurance.
A private insurance group contacted me. Hey, we're in your neighborhood, invited them, look at it, and with the work that I have done, got me out of Fair Plan.
And Lopez's neighbors are watching. Io Wright is an Eaton fire survivor.
My home is gone and a rental property that I both just remodeled with my hands. Eviscerated.
Seeing what you saw here today, how does it make you feel?
That it's doable, that it's achievable, that there are really practical steps that you can take, not just when you're building from the ground up, but when you're just trying to do retrofitting. It's achievable.
Jennifer Gray Thompson, founder of After the Fire, says this kind of construction needs to be our new normal and a neighborhood-wide effort.
If there's 10 homes that do it, it's much easier for the insurance companies to come back in and say, okay, we see what you've done here and you will be rewarded for that. We will then insure you. We have to build back here very insurable, very resilient. And really there's an opportunity though to become a model of insurability, to go way beyond what has ever been done in any other mega fire community before.
The 1/16 of an inch vents that help keep embers out are less than $10 each. Even if you just replace all of your old vents, you're making progress. Christine Lazar, KCAL News.
We are covering the insurance crisis all week long here on KCAL News. Our Christine Lazar will host a live phone bank tomorrow, and we'll be ready to take your calls and questions. Then on Thursday night, we are hosting a town hall. We'll take your questions directly to insurance leaders and homeowner advocates. That's all week here on KCAL News. If you have questions or concerns about home renters insurance, send them to us so we can present them to our town panel. Just go to our website, kcalnews.com, and click on KCAL Insurance Week, then fill out the form at the bottom of the screen. All right, to weather now. It's been a picture-perfect day all across SoCal, but will it stay this way this week? Meteorologist Olga Ospina tracking your next weather forecast. Olga?
Yeah, it's been a nice day today. Temperatures continued to cool from what we were feeling over the weekend and certainly from what we were feeling on Friday. And after that June gloom morning, we are seeing some sunshine across a lot of our inland spots. So things started to clear out. But again, that cool down did continue today. We're a few degrees cooler for most areas, especially out through Orange County. We're down 8 in Fullerton, as well as Santa Ana and Laguna Beach. Current conditions in Long Beach, we're seeing some sunshine there. Sunny skies also through the Inland Empire for Corona, checking in at 82 degrees. We are feeling some gusty winds out there. So for parts of the Inland Empire, some of our deserts and mountains, we are currently seeing some gusts in the 22-mile-per-hour range through Corona. As we head into the next 12 hours, we will still continue with cloud cover for some. That includes Costa Mesa as we head into later tonight and as you wake up tomorrow morning. Cloudy skies, 7 a.m. and 64 degrees with temperatures still comfortable, climbing into the 80s for the valleys, into the Inland Empire and high desert. We're looking at low 80s for the valleys again and 75 for LA Inland Orange County, upper 60s in the beaches. And take a look at the mountains. We do have a system to our north that's bringing us some of that cloud cover as well as a chance for showers, especially for the mountains, not ruling out the chance of a thunderstorm tomorrow and still with those chances for picking up some wet weather as we head into Wednesday. If you are heading to the beach, we do have a beach hazard statement in place through Tuesday afternoon for all of our coastline due to the elevated surf and the strong rip current, so dangerous conditions in the water. Temperature wise though, numbers are going to be rising and we're going to be warmer than average even as we continue into next week. For LA Inland Orange County, that means upper 70s as we head into late in the week. And for the valleys, a little warmer this afternoon in the low 80s, or tomorrow I should say low 80s, and then we're climbing into the mid 80s as we head into Friday, Saturday and Sunday. So it's just a bit of a warm up, but again, I'm tracking those showers. I'll take you through future casts coming up in just a few minutes.
Still looking pretty good. Olga, thank you.
I lost everything that I had.
Project Reissue, the vintage way LA fire victims are finding support through the power of music. Plus, compounding a crisis, a teen gets more than he bargained for while trying to save his family's dogs trapped underground. A teenager from Northern California got more than they bargained for while trying to rescue their family's dogs. The 15-year-old from Nevada County spotted the family's dogs in an abandoned well shaft last month. The teen jumped in to try and rescue them and got stuck themselves. Firefighters responded and used ropes to pull everyone to safety. The teen was not hurt, but the dogs were suffering from dehydration. We're told everyone is doing just fine right now. Well, be careful when wandering through the great outdoors. There's the reason. Tick-borne diseases are on the rise in the U.S. According to data from the CDC, the number of related illnesses has quadrupled over the past 2 decades, with ticks now out until early fall. Some are predicting a very hot year for ticks. They're blaming climate change for the rise in cases like Lyme disease.
Early symptoms of Lyme disease, unfortunately, are going to look a lot like the flu. So there'll be things like fever, fatigue, headaches, and muscle aches.
To protect yourself against tick bites, experts recommend covering yourself when outdoors by wearing long sleeves and long pants. Tuck your pants into your socks and don't forget to wear a hat. The city of Laguna Beach is celebrating its public works department. The American Society of Civil Engineers recognized the department for its work in making Moss Cove greener and more accessible. On top of new landscaping, crews spent last year putting in new stairs, a pedestrian bridge, and a lifeguard tower with public art. Well, up, up, and away. The nest is half empty in Big Bear after one of our eaglets flies the coop when Gizmo might join her sister. Mike?
Hey, Juan here at the desk. An LA County deputy, a former LA County deputy, is sentenced today. He will serve time behind bars, but it's not what his attorney wanted, or even the prosecution. I'll tell you about Trevor Kirk's sentence at 4:30.
And a 14-year-old local racing phenom revving up a promising future. Wait until you hear where he sees himself in 10 years. Well, after a few days learning Big Bear eaglet Sunny is a girl, she has now flown the coop, leaving her younger sister Gizmo behind. The monumental moment playing out on the Friends of Big Bear Valley live stream for the whole world to see. And our Joy Benedict is live in Big Bear. And Joy, we knew this would happen anytime now, and it happened today.
I know, right? We have been watching, this saga in the sky for months now, and we knew it was coming, but it does bring some mixed emotions, right? We are live right now. We're in Fonscan. This is the north side of Big Bear Lake. It's a very small park. Usually I'm alone here by myself doing these Big Bear stories. That is not the case right now, as there are a lot of people out here on Eagle Watch hoping just to get a small sight in the sky of part of this sister act.
It's a moment every parent knows is coming, as Sunny, one of Big Bear's most famous eagles, spread her wings, took a step, and soared.
Couldn't believe my eyes.
Christopher Sandine was at this park in Fonscan, binoculars ready when it happened.
Kind of epitome for everybody's life, just something I really look forward to. Take the jump, take the risk, and let it rip.
In fact, bird watchers have been flooding this tiny park for weeks, hoping for an in-person peek at Jackie and Shadow and their 2 eaglets, Sunny and Gizmo. But most have been watching online to see them fly.
Is it wrong that I'm sad?
No, I feel the same thing. It's like I'm celebrating, and at the same time, it's like, oh, you're really going.
Sandy Steers is one of the original bird watchers up here and founder of Friends of Big Bear Valley, which got the nest cams installed years ago. She says this year has been the most popular by far because it has been nonstop eagle excitement for months. 3 eggs instead of 2, all of them hatching and then one dying in a snowstorm, all leading up to this moment.
Always the big fear is she's going to spread her wings and fall.
Right.
But
yes.
She didn't do that.
No, she didn't. She spread her wings and she was feeling something, and all of a sudden she jumped and went for it.
And even though this was the first flight for Sunny, she is still nearby.
Flew around to the roost tree that Jackie and Shadow like to be on.
Does this mean that she's never coming back?
Not necessarily. It could mean that, but usually they come back, and that's their home base, and so they know to get food there if they get lost.
Even after Gizmo takes off too, the eaglets are expected to stick around for a few more weeks, which has eagle watchers even more excited.
So I'm hoping to see them fly even down to the water to teach them how to
how to hunt, you know, and get their stuff, how to be an eagle.
But we know eventually they will go, leaving Jackie and Shadow, the lake, and the nest behind, and finally ending our bird's eye view of our favorite feathered family.
We don't know if we'll ever see them again.
We don't, no. And that's why it's so sad and so happy all at the same time.
I guess that's why they call it empty nest syndrome.
I think that's it, yes.
I think we all are going to have a little case of empty nest syndrome with these birds. It's important to remember that Gizmo is 4 days younger than Sunny. So although Gizmo is up there kind of looking a little confused and lonely, she's going to be okay. She's expected to take that flight soon. She is not behind her sister because she is younger. So we're hoping to see that take flight in another couple of days. Juan.
Wow. It is such a bittersweet moment, but we're also very proud. All right, Joy, thank you so much for that. LA fire victims are getting much needed help thanks to 6 providers in California that have partnered up with FEMA. One of those organizations is Jewish Family Services LA. Michael Sidman works for them, but he also now is a client after his home burned in the Eaton fire. He says they're helping fire victims like himself find temporary housing as well as assisting with appeals.
We have the opportunity to build the home we always wanted, right here in Altadena, back in the space where everything fell apart. There will be beauty in this ash again. So much is still beautiful here.
Yes, it is. Jewish Family Services LA says the demand is high. They expect to help around 350 people, including Sidman. We have some breaking news here this afternoon. Police are searching now for an armed pursuit suspect near downtown LA. Let's go up to Desmond Shaw, live in SkyCal with more. Des.
Well, Juan, it was a little bit of a pursuit here that came to a crashing end with LAPD in the downtown area. We're at Washington and Naomi, so just south of the 10 freeway here, not too far away from Central Avenue. It looks like they were driving this car, got into a wreck, and then took off running. So LAPD down here on the ground as well with their helicopter overhead looking to find this suspect. Doesn't look like any other vehicles were involved, so hopefully no innocent people injured in this. But a man with a gun on the run and now out here, and LAPD trying to get him into custody, but they haven't found him yet. Live in SkyCal overhead, I'm Desmond Shaw, back to you in the studio.
All right, keep us posted, Desmond. Thank you.
You can't touch me. You can't touch me.
A deputy convicted in a rough arrest sentenced to jail time today. Now his attorney vowing to appeal. KCAL News assignment editor Mike Rogers at the desk. Now, Mike, just a few weeks ago, the new U.S. attorney here said he wanted to work out a deal for the former cop to not spend any time behind bars.
Yeah, you know, the Trump-appointed Bill Asaley is the new attorney general for the Central District of California, and he had said that he did not want this deputy to spend any time behind bars and was going to try to work out some kind of deal. One reason or another, that fell apart, and now this deputy serving 4 months in prison for what happened outside of a Lancaster Winco.
I'm telling you, tell the police over here. No, you can't touch me. You can't touch me.
This was a very controversial arrest after the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department responded to the Winco in Lancaster on what was reported allegedly to first be a shoplifting incident, then allegedly a robbery because the suspects allegedly pushed up against one of the security guards, which they said then escalated it to a robbery. The woman here standing there and recording when Deputy Trevor Kirk walks up to her, and according to the U.S. Attorney's Office at the time, without provocation and without any kind of command, grabs her and throws her to the ground. It sparked big outrage and protests here. What sparked more protests was when the U.S. Attorney's Office decided that they did not want Trevor Kirk to spend any time behind bars. He was relieved of duty from the Sheriff's Department. He is convicted after all of this of abuse of his under the color of law. He is now supposed to be spending 4 months in federal prison as a result of this. Now, his attorney has told us that they do plan to appeal his sentence, and it is unclear if there was not a situation where a deal could be worked out, if a judge rejected a deal, because remember, just because the U.S. Attorney's Office and the defense attorney come up with a deal does not mean a court has to accept that deal. So we're going to work on getting some more information. Regardless, though, Trevor Kirk sentenced today to 4 months in prison, federal prison, for his role in that incident. One.
Yeah, I'll know you'll keep us posted. Yep. Mike, thank you. Caught by surprise, tourists left with quite the story to tell after they're forced to scramble for safety when a volcano erupts. Take a look at this incredible video of a massive volcano eruption in Italy. This is Mount Etna on the island of Sicily. It's one of the world's most active volcanoes. Scientists say the eruption shot gases, ash, and rock about 21,000 feet into the air. Some tourists were caught off guard and they ran from the area to take cover. No word on any injuries. People from 30 miles away heard the explosions. Flights around the area had to be suspended. The eruption caught tourists off guard, but people who live in the area say they're used to it. There have already been more than 15 eruptions so far this year. Middle-aged women with a regular coffee habit could be setting themselves up to live longer. A study looked at women in their 50s who drank 1 to 3 cups of caffeinated coffee a day. It found they were more likely to reach older age free from major chronic diseases and with good cognitive, physical, and mental health. The conclusions are based on dietary data from 47,000 women who were part of the Nurses' Health Study. They were surveyed in middle age and followed for 30 years. Project Reissue, supporting LA wildfire victims through music. Organizers distributed over 1,500 vinyl records to more than 100 people who lost their vinyl collections in the Eaton and Palisades fire. They partnered with various record labels to provide a space for fire victims to rebuild their music libraries at no cost.
Losing the collection is big, but it was the journey to get that collection, which was the beautiful part. And even if the collection is lost, can't take away that. It was the music discovery that I got. It was, taking a Highway 61 record and looking at the liner notes and seeing, who played on it, who produced it.
Scott Doodleson lost more than 8,000 vinyl records and his home in the Palisades fire. He spent 25 years building his vinyl record collection. All righty, revved up and ready to go. How a teen's driving motivation is propelling him past the finish line and inspiring others on and off the racetrack. We'll talk about a next level slip and slide. Check this out. A town in Columbia did something fun to change people's mind about their region. One of its main streets was transformed into a giant water slide. People there wanted to paint a different picture about where they lived after being in the news for violent conflict. This event started last year as a campaign promise from the mayor to entertain residents, and it worked. It became more popular than expected, all thanks to social media and the influencers who came to visit and, of course, post their videos and pictures. We want to thank you for watching KCAL News at 4. Our next newscast just moments away on KCAL News at 5 on CBS Los Angeles over on Channel 2. And we're always on KCALnews.com and streaming on CBS News Los Angeles. We will see you again tonight for more news on KCAL News at 8, 9, and 10.